What's good, everybody? It's your boy First Degree back at you with another video. And Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou has just been announced. The aftermath of the Day of Reckoning boxing card that happened late last year. We got a big fight for March of the 9th of this year, 2024. Another huge Saudi Arabia card. Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, who just came off a crazy performance against the current WBC heavyweight champ Tyson Fury. Controversial, to say the least. You know, he had a first pro fight, him being a full-time MMA fighter, transitioning to the professional boxing world for his debut fight, fighting who at the time was ranked the #1 heavyweight in the world, and has a big fight of his own coming up against Alexander Usyk to unify all the belts and become the undisputed champion. Francis Ngannou in that fight was able to drop Tyson Fury, was able to pressure him throughout the fight, and a lot of people thought, you know, with the effort he gave, with it being his first fight, that you arguably could have gave him the decision. Now he's fighting another top heavyweight in Anthony Joshua. He's been making pretty much, you know, big moves, you know, honestly dating back all the way since he lost his first fight to Stipe Miocic and had a bad performance against Derek Lewis. Since then, he's been on a roll. You know, he's knocked out pretty much all of his MMA opponents since then, became the UFC heavyweight champion, left UFC, transition to boxing, like I said, did his thing against Tyson Fury, and now he's facing Anthony Joshua, who also is in prime position to have a huge 2024 and possibly even heading into 2025, depending on how the fights line up. Joshua just looked great in the main event on the Day of Reckoning card, you know, especially with his rival, Deontay Wilder, who I'll get to later, not being successful against an opponent that Anthony Joshua had beaten previously. Anthony Joshua now is in prime position to have another good performance against, you know, someone who a lot of people, like I said, felt Tyson Fury lost to. He just dominated Otto Weiling, who gave Tyson Fury a heck of a fight a couple years prior. And it's looking like Anthony Joshua is on a straight streamline right back to being a top contender for the heavyweight championship. If he can have a great performance against, you know, Francis Ngannou, at least better than that of Tyson Fury's, it's going to turn a lot of people's head, and it's going to, you know, open a lot of eyes and make people say maybe Anthony Joshua has been the best this entire time, other than, you know, Alexander Usyk, depending how the fight between Usyk and Tyson Fury goes. And then on the other flip side, you got Francis Ngannou, who, if he can come back and have another stellar performance, possibly even drop Anthony Joshua, who knows, steal a win, get an upset, it's going to look very good, you know, for not just Francis Ngannou, but the MMA heavyweight community. You know, the heavyweights in boxing might start to get a bad rap, start not to look as good in the sport of boxing if a, you know, an MMA guy comes over a transition, shows that he can dominate in, you know, this other fashion of combat sports. On another note, on that same card, rumors are being eyed that the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder might face Zhang, who is coming off two huge back-to-back wins against Joe Joyce, knocking him out in the third round in their previous fight. And, you know, with Deontay Wilder coming off the loss to Joseph Parker, not having much inactivity, I think getting back into the ring against a top-tier opponent is the smart move to make. That's not to say that, you know, Deontay Wilder is going to come back in and win the fight easily. Zhang, honestly, at this point, I'd probably even favor him to take the victory against Deontay Wilder, just judging off his last performance. You know, Deontay Wilder's getting up there in age, not getting any younger. Zhang has been in some huge, big, tough fights. He's in line for a championship shot, as I believe he's ranked #1 in the WBO. So he would be another guy who's in line for a title shot, and getting a big win against Deontay Wilder, you know, former world champion, you know, one of the biggest names in the sport of boxing. That would also be huge for him. that could possibly even set him on a course to maybe battle it out with Joseph Parker, who just defeated Deontay Wilder, and those two could arguably be fighting for a second chance, depending on how the fight with Anthony Joshua goes. Could be fighting for second in line to see who faces the undisputed champion between, the winner of Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. So, I mean, bottom line is the heavyweight division is really on fire right now. This is great for the sport of boxing that we are getting all of these big fights. With Ngannou versus Joshua being confirmed, that's amazing. Hopefully, the Wilder Zhang fight comes to fruition and we have another big card. And, on the flip side, if Deontay Wilder wins against Zhang, if he can have a classic bronze bomber bomb squad performance with a big KO against Zhang, the Wilder Joshua fight is just, it's right back in the mix again. People are going to want to see it. Those two look good on the same card with great performances. People will, be right back in the mix, ready to see it finally happen. And I think the boxing, powers that be will know that it's time to hurry up and get this fight made. Because if you notice, the past couple of years, boxing has been making some missteps. Guys have lost or almost lost. I mean, the Fury Usyk fight, like I just mentioned, almost got ruined with, Fury almost losing to a full-time, MMA competitor. Great one, don't get me wrong. He's UFC champion in MMA, but still, just the fact that you're losing to someone on your debut or almost losing, that would have almost ruined that fight. The Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight that would have been, the biggest fight in boxing maybe 3-4 years ago when both were undefeated world champions. That fight is possibly ruined. We may never see that. So I think, the boxing world is starting to realize that they need to, get these fights to the fans when they ask for it while it's cooking. I mean, we got that Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight while both guys were undefeated champions. Those fights did great. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, it happened a little bit after guys had, had some mishaps in, their careers and outside stuff, hampering the fighters. But, we were still able to get it while both guys were undefeated. That fight did pretty solid numbers, but it could have been even bigger had the fight happened while both guys were in the best, condition of their lives, in their primes. Still were great, at the time they fought, but, just would have been even bigger. So, yeah, boxing is on fire. Heavyweight division on fire. March is looking like a great month for heavyweight boxing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any more. And that is First Degree Sports, and I'm out. Peace.